finals against Holy Cross. He was the first Greyhound to have 10 points in a game since a guy named Pat Spencer did that way back in 2016. It's a young lineup, but it's a talented one.
You knew we were going to mention the former Tewaaraton winner, 2012 national champion in Spencer. He was great offensively. There's Brian Ruppel, the senior starting goalkeeper for Maryland out of Catonsville. Started in 2023. Now with no Logan McNaney, he starts again. After the infraction, it goes to Maryland, a team that's made it to Memorial Day each of the last 2 seasons. What will it be in 2026? Your score in the overtime loss to Maryland a season ago. Everhart opens the account for Loyola this season. Dodge led collegiate lacrosse and face-off win percentage a year ago. Now he goes 2 for 2. Here come the Terps down. Back into the middle, it's Jonah Carrier. He saw some time with the graduated Shea Keithler and Sean Crater a season ago. Face off. Still up for grabs, and finally, it's Loyola with it. Miles Halter was against Syracuse for a guy who didn't have any goals as a freshman and then contributing 10 as a sophomore. Could be some special stuff as a junior now for Stoba. Dodge loses that face-off. Here comes Loyola. Rogoff to the right side with Minikis. Now back up top. 4 seconds on the first quarter clock, and that's how it will run out. White cheddar for the former Yale Bulldog and reigning second-team All-Ivy League selection. Led Yale in points last year. It was a down year for Andy Shea and the Bulldogs, but you bring over so much talent with Johnson, Alexander, and Lyons, and goal scoring like you see there. Face-off again controlled by the Terps, and then just sent out of bounds by Owens. Maryland up 3
Way through the second quarter.
Brady Quinn had 12 goals, 19 points a season ago. Now the Florida sophomore's got his first in 2026. This already has the feel of what we saw back at Loyola a season ago.
Yeah, add it here, 3-3.
I already mentioned American by the U.S. Lacrosse magazine. You wonder with guys like that, as you see Henry Dodge, he's in that same category. When will these 5 transfers let it click? A lot of them, it's been early on. Dodge wins another to give Maryland possession after the tie. 5 transfers for Maryland, 4 of them grad transfers. Lyons becomes your first Maryland multi-goal scorer of 2026. He's got 2 of the Terps' 5. Face-off won by Jonah Carrier, and he works it backwards.
Transfers are, he scores the goal, he says his message to Rogoff, and then Spanos, number 1, the captain, having him move away. Urksa, another one of those experienced guys, not making it any worse than it already was. The goal stands.
Carrier loses just his second face-off. Here's the Loyola offense for the first time in about 3.5 minutes of gameplay. And Jonah Carrier, 4 for 6. That's Maryland winning 9 of 12 face-offs today. Dodge does it again. Wins the face-off and then immediately gets it to Larkin. Here come the Terps. Larkin can't bounce it past Watkinson, but Spanos gets the deflection.
And Spanos just taking his time here. This is a guy who had a quiet first half, but again, with him, it is...
He called it true privilege, though, to see the number 1s before him. And it comes with expectations with goals like that.
Yeah, and for the first couple of quarters, it looked like, it's hard to say if he was nervous, but more nervous than anyone else on this team. But in the third quarter, he came out with a vengeance here, knocked down the 7-5.
Correct that, too. That's Luke Murphy instead. So that's Murphy's second goal for a guy who knows what it's like to have success playing in Maryland. His brother.
Been more of a finesse game lately. Spanos puts a stop to that and says, I'm just going to strike and throw my heater right by you, and it's 8-5.
Got a pretty good fastball, I'd say, from the stick of number 1. A guy who was only in his first year as a full-time attacker last year. He's still learning the position while being one of Maryland's leaders. Came in as a midfielder from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Great lacrosse at Malvern Prep. Now the Terps win the faceoff. This is going to be the game changer for Maryland this year. If you can get a goal and then have a guy like Henry Dodge just create another offensive chance with a win at the faceoff X.
But the depth at that faceoff has been big. That was Carrier on that last play. The fact that Tillman...
It's been easy so far. Ooh. Correct that too. That is Leo Johnson's third of the game. He's the first Terp with a hat trick this season. He's got a third of Maryland's goal production.
We talked about the...
Because of the conditions in D.C. So a big upset for Villanova, though, already putting the country on notice in week 1. Good face-off won by Dodge. He'll pass it off to Fleece, transfer to transfer, as Dodge dips for the sideline. Today, Maryland just keeps climbing that lead up to 6 now. Give the assist to Leo Johnson. So give him now 3 goals and an F1.
Take control of this one, up by 8.
Johnson's 5th of the 13 goals today for Maryland. The career high for Leo Johnson came 2 years ago against Cornell. That was 6. So Johnson has come alive, especially
for the Terps. The sky is the limit. This game was relatively close going into the start of the second half, and now the Terps have outscored the Greyhounds 8-1 in the third quarter.
Third goal today for Chris Lyons. Maryland's been great to end quarters, and they've been great through their 2 Yale transfers on the attack. 8 of Maryland's 14 goals coming from either Leo Johnson or Chris Lyons. The number 2 ranked product in the portal. Number 3 was his teammate who's here with Maryland too, and Chris Lyons. Lyons has 3 goals to his name. Johnson with 5. That's exactly the production that John Tillman was looking for in the portal out of bringing those 2 in.
And it's so different from the additions last year because a lot of those grad transfers came from D2.5.
You can credit too that screen to Miles Halter of Loyola. Got the Maryland defender off just enough to do so.
Those Terps defenders have to stay in front of the Greyhounds.
Caught up there between Maryland's Dodge and Loyola.
And these 3 Yale guys have been really solid for the Terps here today.
9 of the 16 goals today have come from that pair of Yale attackers. The number 5 Hoyas couldn't host that one. So Loyola plays Maryland, then travels, if you even say travels, being so close to Johns Hopkins to face the Blue Jays. Really interesting one too with Syracuse.
And it's why the Terps are up by double digits.
For Maryland, who had allowed the 3 straight goals for Loyola, well, they've responded with 4 straight of their own. For the Terps, this is a game-high 10-goal lead. And there was some discussion, too, as the ball now into the...
goes to the ground.
Haberman started all 14 games a season ago for Loyola. Again, it was a 3-11 Greyhound squad a season ago who didn't pick up its first win until April 5th, but they had 19 freshmen, added some transfers, and the locker room is still going through the growing pains of understanding its culture and how to play collectively.
Terps, but man, they have brushed that off like it's nothing, and they have taken on a tough Loyola team, and they're dismantling them.
On the faceoff, there is the senior Mitch Lloyd, and only his 7th appearance. If Maryland wants to be backed by its depth, though, all of a sudden...
Good game today.
Final 75 seconds. As that faceoff is controlled by Loyola. It's a Greyhound team that will move to 0-1 on the season.